Hello, you're watching Proactive London. Joining us today is our healthcare analyst, John Savin. John, good to speak with you today.
Hello.
So, John, you've just published a report on Creo Medical. Tell us more about the company. What does Creo do?
Yeah, Creo is a very interesting UK company developing advanced surgical devices for use on the end of endoscopes. These are long, flexible tubes that avoid the need for direct surgery incisions into the abdomen. So it's principally used for bowel cancer in this case. It's a UK company, current market capitalisation is about £174 million, based in just on the border with Wales, in Wales with the border with England. So a very interesting company. Importantly, it also sells itself. It sells direct in the US, in Europe and in Asia.
Tell us more about its products, John.
Sure, there are a variety of advanced medical products, but we want to focus on three of them just in this section. The main one is something called Speedboat, which is a cutting and coagulation, like stop bleeding device, goes at the end of an endoscope, a long flexible fiber optic tube, and that is used for surgery in the bowel to remove cancerous and precancerous lesions. So that's the major application and the major product. It's also used for some treatments in the esophagus. That's the pipe that goes between the mouth and the stomach, which can get narrowed in some patients. And it can also be used to open that up. The second core product, which is not yet approved in the US, Speedboat is fully approved, but this second product is called Spiderblade, and it is used for cutting and again coagulating, stopping bleeding in highly vascularized tissues. So that's a product which is just coming out. We expect it to receive US approval quite soon, and it's got a lot of medical applications that'll be interesting to explore in the future. Third one is a small probe. It's used to deliver heating energy to tumors. So you insert it into a tumor and it cooks it from the inside. It's got some very interesting medical data. It needs a bit more validation, but potentially a lot of huge interest in treating very difficult to treat cancers like pancreatic.
What are the advantages of these Creo products, John?
Yeah, it is slightly complicated, but the core thing here is that Creo has the patents, worldwide patents, on dual energy use. That's two energy types. So Speedboat cuts by using what they call bipolar electrical energy. That's an electrical field that goes from two electrodes in the device itself. That might sound quite obvious, but current devices that use electrical cutting have one electrode and direct the current out through the patient, usually to a metal plate that the patient sits on. That can have lots of consequences. It's not particularly good for the patient. The Speedboat technology uses bipolar, which means the electrical energy is contained in the device for cutting. And the second power source is microwave, just like you have in a microwave oven, but this is directed and it's used to stop bleeding. So the surgeon can switch seamlessly between these two devices using the Camaptiv power source technology that Creo owns. So this is a unique system, and we can see that from the deal they recently did, we'll talk about later, with Intuitive, which is a major robotics company, and Intuitive is wanting to explore the use of this dual energy capability with its surgical robots. So I think that's a big credibility win for Creo.
You mentioned the Intuitive deal, so tell us about that.
Sure. Yeah, the Intuitive is probably the initiator of robotic surgery, particularly the abdomen. The Da Vinci system, which it sells, is very expensive for a robot, 4 arms, and its sales are about $5.7 billion a year in 2021. Market cap of the whole company is 78 billion. So I just point out that's a 13 times multiple sales to value to sales, as opposed to Creo, which is 6.4. So you can see how valuable these types of surgical companies can be. And Intuitive is going to explore the use of this dual energy technology for its own tools. And this is going to take some years to bring about. But I think it's really important that we have this opening into a major market. Intuitive has 6,730 robots placed already, which is a large sales force. So as Creo's tools or new tools are adapted to use the dual energy sources. This is going to yield a lot of royalties and product sales for Creo. Not immediately, but probably in the next two to 5 years' time, it will see the fruits of this coming forward.
So tell us about the markets for Creo's products and also how they're doing financially.
Sure. Well, the market's about, Creo puts the market at about 825,000 procedures a year, which are suitable. By suitable, we mean that it's an early stage precancerous or early stage cancerous bowel lesion, as they call it medically, that hasn't got into the muscle. If it's got into the muscle, then you're going to use surgery. So you're going to remove a whole section of bowel. And that's currently what happens. It's very invasive. Patients take a long time to recover. They need a bag to get rid of the bowel contents while the surgery heals. So it's a big procedure. The Creo procedure, speedboat submucosal dissection, offers a chance of doing that much more efficiently and faster with much faster patient recovery. Very small lesions can be taken out by another procedure, loop excision, but you really want to remove these cancers or precancerous lesions in one go to avoid the chance of the condition reoccurring. So about 825 of those a year across the globe, 825,000 a year across the globe. That's equivalent to about 750 million pounds or about $1 billion. So there's a lot to go for Creo. And they have direct sales opportunities. So they have direct sales in the US with their own sales force, 20 people. They have direct sales in Europe to Ablin, a distributor they own, with about 40 people. And they have a new Singapore hub with about 10 people across Asia developing those markets. So Creo is selling direct for these procedures. Now, currently, they do have a long way to go. In the US, there are about 25 current hospitals using this procedure. The reason for that is that the earlier procedure, endoscopic submucosal dissection, came from Japan, requires quite a lot of training to use single-use devices. The dual-use device is much easier to use, much easier to learn, so they're aiming to expand from the current core of 25 to about 80 to 90 people quite quickly. This is centers. And then there are further 300 or so centers which could, major centers which could use this device and really should be using this device. So that's quite a significant growth in the US market, a lot to go for. Worldwide, about 500 users doing about 2 procedures a week. Seems it's not particularly a big impact on the overall 825,000 possible procedures. That would take Creo to break even. It's about 50 million of sales or so. So we expect that to sort of happen around 2025 to 2026 sort of period. So a lot to go for there. Current sales are limited. I mean, the current Creo product range, Speedboat, largely it was sold for £312,000 in 2021. Ablin sales, which is a distribution company they acquired in 2020, had sales of just under £25 million. So they do have a high level of turnover, but most of that is distribution sales. So what we're looking at is the Creo core sales growth over the next 3-4 years, and we expect that to be very high. Currently, they're seeing quarter-on-quarter doubling of sales. So we'd expect it from 300 to get to about 300,000 of sales in 2021 to get to about 1 million of sales in 2022, the current year, and somewhere between 2 and 4 million 2023. But we really need to see the growth change as it happens, and as we come out of the pandemic, which of course has been a big impact on surgical elective surgeries in all countries, particularly the United States. So our expectation for sales in 2022 is 27.3 million. We expected the company still to make a loss. The EBIT loss is about 29 million. There was 4 million of tax credits in 2021. We'd expect something similar. Cash position is at the end of year-end 2021 was 43 million. I would expect that to drop to about 16 by the end of 2022. So there's a need for more cash for investment. But the point is that this is worthwhile. With a direct sales, you capture all the profits. And with such a large market to go for and high growth rates and a very strong intellectual property position and strong patents, and now the Intuitive deal, we think this offers a really good investment opportunity.
Well, definitely want to keep an eye on. John, thank you very much for the update today.